Okay. Well, I'm placing my hands on my heart, taking a nice deep breath. So grateful to join together with everyone. So grateful for this opportunity to center in the truth. Grateful for this beautiful community, this opportunity to nourish ourselves and center and fuel ourselves for all that's to come. Grateful for A Course in Miracles and all the truth teachers and teachings that are supporting us in our awakening journey. So grateful to join as the host and speaker, just opening my mind and heart to being truly helpful. Grateful for Chaia for coming with her beautiful music, for her loving heart, for all that she will do to support the lifting of our vibration, the shifting from any fear, any amount of anxiety, to love, to peace, to joy. We are declaring a willingness and a desire for spirit to be in charge, for spirit to flow through each of us in our time here, opening the minds and hearts of all those here, all those listening later, to receive any bit of helpful guidance for right where you are on the path. So we are grateful for all the blessings, including this time together. We share them with everyone, everywhere, and we let the good be, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Great. Good to see you all. I will introduce myself as the host and speaker today. My name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah, and I am on staff at the Power of Love Ministry. And I have been in Jennifer's community since 2012, the tail end of 2012. So it has been a journey and a great delight for me to have found my spiritual home and my spiritual family. And I'm currently on staff, and I also am a spiritual counselor in training. And I facilitate and work in the community support department of the ministry, just helping all the participants get whatever they need in the program so that they can settle in and do the deep work. So we also have a good friend of mine, Chaia May, is here as our musical guest. So I will introduce her and she will do a song. Then I will have a time to share, and we'll have a meditative reflection. We'll have more music, and then a few announcements, and then we close with more music, more prayer, and that's the lay of the land. So I will introduce Chaia officially and just share a little bit about her musical background. So currently, Chaia works at the Rhode Island Philharmonic Music School. I think there's an echo there. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if unmuted. Oh, maybe just for a second. We'll mute you. Yeah, it's giving me some feedback. Okay, no problem. Getting set, get the stage. Okay, so Chaia is at the Rhode Island Philharmonic Music School in Providence. She teaches voice, piano, and guitar for all ages, as well as group classes for young children. She has studied voice, theater, and storytelling and performed as a folk and jazz singer for many years. She composes songs and loves to express her spirituality through music, poetry, prose, and movement. She has loved leading a movement to prayer class for women, incorporating yoga, dance, meditation, poetry, and song. And Chaia has books and CDs available and for sale. She has lots of great children's music, resources and books on that she can share with us later. So Chaia, your turn. I will mute and we'll unmute you.
Press this. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
I can.
Oh, okay. You can hear me. Okay. Can everybody see me okay too? I can barely see the.
We can
We
see.
can see.
I don't know
I
if
don't
you
know if
can
you can
turn up
turn up
your
your
audio.
audio.
Oh, let's see. How's that? Is that better?
I think
I
so.
think so.
Okay. I can. All right. So the first song I would love you to sing along with me. You may have heard it before if you were with me before. It's a song I wrote based on of welcoming to the peacefulness of the Sabbath, and this is just a general song of peace and joy. And it's there's the part that just you can join again, la 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 la, or you find the words with me. They're very few, so you can hopefully get it right away. Come in peace, bring me peace, go in peace, peace unto you. Take a breath with me, try it with me. Come in peace, bring me peace, go in peace, peace unto you. And the la la part goes like this. La 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 la. Come in peace, bring me peace, go in peace, peace unto you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Wow. That's music is so profound. Puts you right in the heart immediately. Zero to 100. Okay. Well, peace is always a good starting point, a good jump off point. I was feeling like today I'd like to take this opportunity as a sort of a checkpoint. You know, I feel like Sundays with Spirit is a chance for us to come together to reignite our commitment to being the peace and choosing peace and living the course. That's what Jennifer is all about, living A Course in Miracles. And she created this community because living A Course in Miracles isn't necessarily easy. It's not necessarily even common. So having each other to support one another and inspire, motivate, uplift, that's what I thought I would do. I thought what we can do is take this as a checkpoint for all of us. So I have a few questions to ask you. So if you could take this a couple ways. You could, if you're a pen and paper person, or maybe you would rather just tune within and close your eyes, or whatever form. But I'd like us to begin by just pausing and being still and taking in the question, considering, contemplating. For you in your life, for you on your journey right now, what is coming up for healing? What's that? Maybe one or two things that are right there, looking you right in the face. They are there. They are up for healing. So, what is that for you? And this thing that's up for healing, again, it might be one or two things, but if it's easier to work with one thing, the main predominant thing, um, try to name it. What is it? If you would call it a challenge, what's the challenge? What would you call the challenge that's facing you, that you're facing? Okay, so hopefully we have something, and maybe there's many, but one challenge, something that's right there. And you know, so when I joined this community back in 2012, I joined something called Living A Course in Miracles, which I loved so much. It was my very first program with Jennifer, and she had a panel of Course in Miracles teachers that were teaching around a topic. I can't recall the theme. It was like a theme, actually. And but I remember so profoundly how my mind had never been opened so widely in with the teachings that I was listening to. So, and the exciting thing is Jennifer is considering doing another one of those very soon, and I'm excited because it's been a while since she's done a Living a Course in Miracles series like that. Um, but after doing that, I joined Masterful Living, and in Masterful Living, we do just this. We are invited to um, identify a challenge, especially like if sometimes like you've got a challenge, but it's a surface and there's something deeper, and it's okay. It's all connected. As you heal it, you'll go deeper if you need to. But that's the beauty. Actually, today I was leading a class, and we call it a goal setting session where we ask our participants to identify a challenge, and then we lead them through a series of questions where we help them really set the goal, or set the, Jennifer calls it like you're setting your trajectory for the year. So that's the good thing. And I think Masterful Living, we reopened it. I think it's closing tomorrow. I think that's the close of the reopen. And so there's still time to get in on it. But we just went through identifying our challenge and basically identifying, kind of what it's costing us to have this challenge, and that it's like the energy and that it's taking up and the space it's taking up, and coping with it, and what all the cost and associated with that. But I wanted to share a challenge I am facing, and to kind of have you think about working through your challenge, and let's see where we go. I'm also very much in the space today of the course teaching A Healed Mind Doesn't Plan. And that's so great because I did not have a healed mind years ago when I first did Sundays with Spirit. I planned out almost every word I was going to say because I was so nervous. But now it's like, oh no, my mind is healing. And there's even this fearless trust I'm having. Like, it's okay, just show up. You got this, girl. But so you've got your challenge. You wrote your challenge down. And let's go one more step with it, and then I'll share a little bit about something I'm working with right now. So we've got a challenge. One of the questions Jennifer will typically ask in Masterful Living is have us just do this like a checkpoint. And then she would say, what is your prayer around that challenge? What is your prayer? And you may recognize in that moment, oh dear, I haven't even been praying about it. I kind of forgot about that. But if you have been praying, what is your prayer? So if you have a challenge, do you have a prayer that you're praying, or what could be the prayer? If you haven't identified a prayer, what is the prayer? And the prayer can be, because we use affirmative prayer, at least in the ministry, as we go through the courses, where we are affirming in a prayer that the healing has already occurred. And we are affirming in the prayer our willingness to receive the healing. And so our prayers can take on different words, but essentially, as we remember that we only have one problem, our problem is we feel separate from the answered prayer. We feel separate from God, from peace, from wholeness, from prosperity, from abundance. If we remember the Course says we have only one problem, is that sense of separation. So the prayer is that reminder, the affirmation that we are already one with the infinite. So in some way, it's simply for us to remember the truth about ourselves and the situation. But our prayers can take on a lot of forms. So that's just one thing. It's a checkpoint. What challenge are you aware of? Like, are you just in the challenge, or do you have some distance from it? So I will say that as a mother, so to get a little bit into my challenge, and then I'm so excited because I did want to connect something else to this talk today, which when I just said, basically the healing's already occurred, right? So we're already at the finish line. We just don't recognize that. I'm going to relate that to experience I had with my daughter who is 7. She's currently in this room painting. Maybe she'll show us her creations later. And I was playing Chutes and Ladders with her. Okay, Chutes and Ladders, very spiritual, very cool, like very fun to place Chutes and Ladders with like the angle of like having it be some spiritual metaphor, because there's Justine wanting to win, right? Like, so we were playing this princess Streets and Ladders. We each had 2 princesses, so we each had 2 turns. Okay. Now, of course, if my princesses got ahead or one of mine was in the lead, she started getting frustrated or she'd go down. Now, I'm like, oh, girl, Chutes and Ladders. You just got to play this thing out. Okay. You can't, this is a wild ride. You can shoot all the way up. You think you're about to be at the finish line and you slide all the way back down, or you're the princess who just takes one single step at a time. You don't need to rock it. But the thing I kept saying to Justine was like, you know what? And I just was kind of realizing it while we're playing. I'm like, you're going to get to the end. You're going to get to the castle. You will get to the castle like this Chutes and Ladders. You go to a castle. I'm like, you're going to get to it. It's in the bag. So enjoy the ride. Let's see what the ride looks like. The ride might look like a direct, fast track to the castle. It might look like whatever. So here I have my 2 princesses. So I think, after the round where she gave up and maybe got upset, we started playing again. Okay. And I said, hey, let's just see what happens when we don't, spin the number wheel and then, it's in between the 3 and 5 and you want it to be 5, and she's like, it's 5. I'm like, what if we just actually just see what happens? So we play And she ends up winning. Like her two princesses finished before mine. Fine. Meanwhile, I've got, who knows, Cinderella or whoever, who I stayed on and played after Justine finished, and maybe one of my princesses, I had my last one. She did not get there until like 10 minutes later. I kept spinning. She'd go up and down and up and down. And I'm like, wow. And I'm kind of thinking like I'm kind of making a metaphoric like comparison, like, this could just be somebody who has a really difficult karma, like, or, maybe an addiction problem. I'm not sure, just somebody in life who's just taking a few steps forward, getting knocked down, going up and down and up and down. But that was such a good reminder to me, like just that spiritual teaching that number one, we're already at the castle. We just think we're not at the castle. We feel far away from the castle. We feel like the lowly one who's way beyond, and we feel, separate from the riches of the castle. But there was just great, like, I just thought it was kind of cool to be playing that game and just trying to convey, to a 7-year-old who's just looking at it differently. But at the same time, there I am, like potentially kind of childish in my own way of living, where I don't see that I will get there. And I'm actually, because I'm guaranteed to get there, um, can I relax? I could relax. I could relax and enjoy the ride because there might be some people in this incarnation who, like, we're not meant to get there in 5 seconds. We're meant to like go through a bunch of different things until we've really like had the fullest light bulb, brightest light bulb go off, So I don't know. That was just really cool. That was cool to me. And that's what I feel like is happening in general as we continue to do the work that we do in this community where we're committed to forgiveness, where when something comes up, we're taking responsibility. And then anything that's really, really, really sticky, like not feeling like a challenge that we can't even bring ourselves to pray for, or there's just such a block that we can't just have a challenge, but kind of put the challenge, as Jennifer teaches, you would have put the challenge on the altar, your own altar. And the Course says that the altar is like in the heart. It's like you put your challenge somewhere in your mind where it's already solved. It's being solved for you. And then you keep going. And I do think we can connect that to like, okay, the castle, you know, you're already going to the castle. So put that aside. And because, I was leading people through questioning today, and it was like, what's your challenge? And, um, when it's healed, what would you do with all the time and energy that's freed up when you're not worrying about your challenges? All the time and energy that goes into just being concerned or wherever that drives you. Because it's funny, you could be out doing, like I could be very much snapping at my daughter, but it's because I'm worried about our finances, or something like that. So when the challenge isn't put in its proper perspective, it's just it's just eating up our life force energy, you know? So um that's what we were talking about today. It's like, what would you like to do instead? If you knew all your problems were solved, if you knew you were getting to the castle, then how would you want to take the journey? What would the journey look like then? Would you enjoy, climbing up the 100 steps because you got to that's the thing you got? Because in this Chutes and Ladders, if you get a 1, you get a pretty big, significant ladder. But it's at like number, who knows, 31, where you get up to like 89, you go like the biggest. But like, are you enjoying your steps? Are you enjoying the slide down? You know what I mean? Like sliding down. We're doing a lot of sledding over here in the Northeast, and we're about to get dumped on again. So there'll be more sledding. Like, this is the most sledding. And by the way, when I grew up, we didn't say sledding. we said sleigh riding. And I have had to change my identity to move and live here and be understood because everyone says, well, there's no horse involved. I'm like, I don't know. That's what we said. And we said sleigh riding. But it's very strange. Every time I have to say sledding, I'm like, wow, I've just really sold myself. I've just had to, well, I'm just morphing. Um, so that's one thing. That's kind of part of this. And for me, my challenge is what I will say, because I participated today where as I was facilitating this, we call it goal setting session. I was writing down my own answers and I was participating and sharing with everybody. And I would say that one of my biggest challenge right now feels like reactivity. And it's because reactivity, I think, is so human. And so one of the things I don't know how long I spent on this aspect of healing, which is not judging myself. I spent, that was a major learning that I got from Masterful Living. Early on, Jennifer said she has a zero tolerance policy for self-judgment. And I was like, wow, I have never even had that policy. I didn't really have those types of policies. And so after that's in place where I'm not judging myself, so I'm making mistakes, I'm not judging myself. I'm making mistakes. It's okay. I'm not judging myself because what does that do? It just puts me down further. That's the bigger slide. It's kind of like, oh, you're the princess who does a slide down and then you're going to say, well, why did you slide down? What happened there? Well, you weren't looking where you're going. And you start beating yourself up. You're like, I already slid down. Now I have to stand up and keep going. Why am I going to yell at myself for sliding down? Okay. And again, it could have been just part of the journey. And so again, it's part of the journey that we're going to slide down. And sometimes we're going to like rock it up. And so the not judging myself was a critical component along the way. And that's been very helpful. So that's in place. And yet now it just seems like the other thing that's taking place is that the gap. Jennifer teaches about getting in the gap. And the gap, I think, is just like that choice point where it's the initial point where something goes maybe not the way your personality wants it to. And so then here comes the automatic response. And then Jennifer's kind of teaches about getting in the gap is like where you can at least see that you could go there or there. You could go with the reactivity, or you could at right then and there, whatever it takes to call in the support so that you can go where I like to say to the new frontier, the place you've never even been, because you've maybe in just your habitual way of being, you've always responded a particular way. And maybe not always, but let's just say I just feel like for me, the challenge is that I'm just seeing myself be reactive more than I think to this point where I can even be in the third person perspective where I'm saying, oh, Angela, wait, okay. Almost like this is not serving you anymore. You're ready to outgrow this. No, I'll give you a timer. So I just feel like without really being judgmental with myself, I'm saying, oh, I think I'm ready to do that differently. I'm ready to do things differently. And um, it's not per se, okay. So this is the thing, motherhood. This is what I'm in. I'm in the middle of it. I'm in it, committed to it. And uh it's such a blessing. I can't tell you. I feel like it is in some way, this is what so I've got the Course in Miracles is one of my major spiritual tools. And Haya knows too that I love Kundalini yoga. I've talked about it before, but I love yoga as a pathway. It's also a tool I use. It's part of my toolbox. Um, and so Kundalini yoga is a householder tradition, they say, because it's not meant that we go live in an ashram and just do yoga. It's meant to be that the people who take the yoga into their homes. So you're doing it in your home to lift your energetic field, to lift your vibration. So you're vibrating at the frequency of these spiritual qualities. And so being in relationship, those things that really push your buttons, that's the path. That's the path that in this incarnation it appears, yes, this is what I signed up for. So we're in relationship. These these are the points where we'll be tested and tried, but it's so great. But I will just say that I feel that when I listen to myself, uh, what I'm saying sometimes is not matching who I really am. Almost like I'm unconsciously saying things, kind of like if you're doing small talk and you might see someone and be like, ah, more snow. I hate it. I don't want, like all these things where you're kind of in this complaint. I don't know. It's this small talk. Sometimes you end up saying things that maybe just are even somehow not what you really mean, but you're just saying, you're just kind of throwing out these phrases. Um, like, if I hang out at my mom's, I visited my mom last week. I'll hear things like I can remember my uncle saying, and this is kind of in my family where if something's broken, or I think they were all talking about how their electricity bill went up, and they were all just like, always something, this type of thing. But the complaining is just not, it's complaining is sort of not part of this awakened path. You know, it doesn't mean you can't, but you catch yourself. We're meant to be awake. We're meant to be, we are, if you're here on a Sunday, when you could be doing any other things of this God's green earth, it means you are on the awakening journey. And I'm reading this book that is called Sleeper Awaken. Let me just grab it here. Justine, can you grab that? And I love this book. It's the one underneath. Yeah. It's so great because it's this book. It's like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's The Atlantean Secrets and it's called Sleeper Awaken by Samuel Sagan. And I've never read any of his books. Um, but it's very futuristic and a very cool. It's like kind of about a different world in a different galaxy, but you follow this main character and he is okay. It starts out, he's 17 years old when you first start the book, and he describes living in his family and in his community where they all follow the law and they all speak the same way and they greet each other in this way like, oh, hi, Jennifer in the law. How are your parents in the law? Oh, Angela, my sister in the law, they are well. How are your parents? And they describe that the way they interact with each other is just so robotic. It's just everybody does the same thing. And if your father was a shoe cobbler, you'll be a cobbler, and so will your children. Like everybody just followed the same thing, did the same thing. And then by chance, he's in this race. Um, he's in this race where it's a sort of like a rite of passage. As a 17-year-old, he had to do these physical feats and this other tests, and then they were ranking all the men, um, and then determining where they were going to go and where to do their work. And he ends up being in part of the physical race, so he's running, and he sees this young woman who needs help, but they were not supposed to slow down. They were supposed to keep going. but he just felt like I got to see if she's okay. So he gets off the trail and helps her or checks on her. And then this other man sees him and kind of like snatches him up because he sees something in him. And it turns out that this man, what was his name? The man who so the main character's the 17-year-old boy his name is Czar, I think. Czar. And so anyway, Czar, you follow him. He ends up getting taken by a master. Um, the master sees in him, oh, he has a lot of potential. Or however it works, that he just maybe he even knew about him and he went to go find him. Almost like in the Buddhist traditions where they know they're looking for the boy who's going to be like the next leader. It seems like they went to find him, they found him. So you follow Czar through his journey of waking up because what he realizes is everyone he knows and ever had known was a sleeper, asleep. It just means their head is down, they're following life as they're meant to follow it. They're doing what they think they're supposed to do. They're saying what they think they're supposed to say, and they're not questioning anything. And so you're in this book and he is awakening more and more and more. And he then sees the fact that, oh wow, a lot of people are asleep. And then he goes to all these rituals and ceremonies where he falls asleep every time because he can't hold the frequency of what's happening in the healing ceremonies. And so he keeps falling asleep. So then his whole quest becomes to stay awake, stay awake and not to fall asleep and to actually strengthen his system so he can withstand the higher frequencies. And then you go with him. Now I'm at this point where he's about to, he ends up like, he keeps passing the levels and he's going to be this master of the dragon. So I am just about at the point where he's going to meet the dragon because he already did some dance with the dragon and he's learning again. But the whole thing is so interesting because the people who told me to read this are into Kundalini yoga, but I see such parallels because when your physical system is strong and you can hold a higher frequency, it supports you to be awake. That's just kind of my interpretation about it. But what I'm finding is as I get stronger and I'm more awake, I can't even put up with myself when I'm below that. When I see myself like behaving in ways that are just not of this caliber, I'm like, okay, no, girl. So it's like I can watch myself maybe be reactive, but now I'm at the position where I'm saying, okay, I am I am going to use my mind, which is the mind of God, to make a declaration that of what I'm really interested in. And and life gives us all the pieces. Because I've read the Dalai Lama has a book for children, and we have it. And I can remember where the Dalai Lama was saying, his mother was the one who taught him kindness. His mother his mother was his living example of compassion. And he said his mother was even too kind, which when I read that, I'm like, oh, I want someone to say that about me. Like she was too nice, not in that way, but almost like he felt he may have needed more discipline. I don't know what he meant by that. But because what I can say for myself is that okay, now we're in the fire dragon, right? We're in the year of the fire horse. Yeah, the fire horse. I'm sorry. Now dragon is like in my mind. And so I can at times have a fiery nature, like a fiery reactive nature. Right, Justine? Justine is my living example. Now, and you stopped it, buddy, by the way. Um, no, no, you said a 9-hour thing. Oh, buddy. And, I have taught Justine the best I can, right? I'm still doing that. So the other day when I was quite reactive, Justine says to me, Mom, you're choosing all of this. I'm like, oh, great. Here comes all my teachings right back at me. She's like, you're choosing to be frustrated. And then she says a little bit later, because I was definitely in a fire horse situation. And then she's like, Mom, is it a full moon today? I'm like, no. Why are you asking? But she's putting all the pieces together, like, what do I do with this fire horse of a mother? Um, who's passionately like desiring to find the best way to guide her, right? Not right now. Um, okay. But um, so my prayer, it's not even that I necessarily have a prayer about my challenge, but what today was for me, it was a checkpoint. It was like a pause. And I'm like, okay, I'm identifying that I feel challenged to be two things I identified. One is that reactivity is winning often. And I'm like, I don't want that. And the two was that I have this strong agenda going. I have my personality can at times be very prone to let's get things done. I mean, I'm a bit fluid and I'm not that type A, but at the same time, I I have friends who are a whole lot less relaxed than me. So they show me there's a whole other possibility, right? Because I do come from a family where it's like, you don't just really sit around and lay around. My friend says, I really think I'm like a cat. I could just lay on the couch all day. I'm like, wow, well, I don't know what the opposite of a cat is, in animal terms. More like I'm like an ant or like a bee. You're like constantly have an assignment and a task. And that agenda does get in the way of me being able to wake up and know that, oh, the most important thing I could do as a mother, per se, is to sow seeds of compassion and patience and acceptance, you know? Justine just said, yes, please. No, here's the thing. This is not to say like, and this is the interesting point. Along the way, I have felt like, well, you know what? I don't have to discredit that there's this urge coming up. There's this something strong coming up. I can trust that too. That there's something is a teaching moment. It's a teaching moment. It's a pivotal moment, and there's something important here. I just am calling in all resources of awareness that I have to say, hey, um, I'm not interested in like if my life is a car and the driver is, the guide. I don't want a reactive guide who's flipping people off and shouting and beeping and screaming. I want like somebody who's very composed. I want to be spiritual warrior, just somebody who's composed and getting the job done, but everyone in the car feels relaxed and calm. That's kind of my thing. So, what am I doing about it? Yes, it is having a prayer, but it's also using all my spiritual tools. And one of the things that I've also noticed is how I will sit down in the morning to do my yoga and, and then I'll get a notification that will come across my screen. Like I'm supposed to be setting up for meditation. Then I see this email and then it's like, oh, yeah. And then I go there for 10 minutes and take care of that. And then it's like, all right, get back to and let me get my video queued up. And then it's YouTube. And then there's 16 options of things on the side. And then I'm like, what? Ice skating? And then it's like, that's another 18 minutes, and then you go down and then you're like, who is this ace skater? I should like to see her biography. Oh, there's another video. And then it's like, Oh, so by the time I get to that part of the yoga, which my yoga is 90 minutes. So then if I have like these side trips here and there as I get through the thing, that's the other thing about being reactive is like, oh, what's that shiny nickel? And I'm not saying that's not human, right? That's being very human. It's very human. And I try, it's Justine, so that's me. Not me, but her. You? Okay. Yeah, this is what life is like. This is the thing. Life is meant to try to like keep us sleeping and distracted, like not focused and on a spiritual warrior pathway, to be the spiritual warrior and stay on path. Holy moly. But so, I mean, but what I recognized is, wow, if I didn't do any of those side trips during my yoga morning time, I think I could do another 31-minute meditation, which in my head normally, I'm like, I don't have time for a 31-minute meditation. But if I were to honestly like audit my behavior, I'm like, girl, you did 16, you did 41 minutes of whatever you did. So the last thing to say is that I'm getting to these points, and it's kind of like a celebration that we can recognize our challenge. That's a celebration moment. Because if you can see your challenge, man, that is golden. And then if you have a prayer about it, or you are mentally in some way putting it on an altar where someone, the higher beings are handling it and actually remembering they've handled all of these things. You've got your prayer about it. And then whatever your tools are that give you the energy that you need to be unbotherable, you know, but the unbotherable and to have the capacity. So the reason why I want to do a 31-minute meditation, because in Kundalini Yoga, 31-minute meditation covers you for the day. You're fully covered. The 11-minute ones, which is kind of what I do a couple 11-minute ones. They're half a day things, but I don't know if 2 equals a full day, but not exactly. But the whole idea is that are you doing enough spiritual practice to cover you for the day? You know what I mean? Or are you doing little bits? And that's fine. It's just to say, for me, right now, I am interested in in having a practice that fortifies me for the day. And I believe if we are desiring that, you will find out what that is for yourself. You'll figure it out. And remembering that every challenge we have, without letting it go on too long or persist, what's your prayer around it? And are you putting it on the altar? Because then when that's taken place, we're fully covered. Our problems are on the altar. We're fortified spiritually. Then then in my writing today, it was like, when this is healed, what would you like to experience? And it's like heaven on earth, heaven on earth. And that is our birthright. Okay. So hopefully you got something out of that. It's shoots and ladders. And I saw somebody put something in a chat, like almost like a question. Oh, yay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. What was your question, Haya?
When I read about principle versus, I forgot what it was said in the
You
chat.
put
Someone wrote something and I didn't know what it meant. She wrote,
oh,
I meant, here, okay, so principle is not bound by precedent. It means not to have bias, or I'm not sure how they related it. It's something that Marjorie wrote.
okay.
Okay,
Yep.
yep.
Look.
Look.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted. There's because when you and I are unmuted, but I'm looking at what Marjorie wrote to see the challenge to see your humanity in your divinity and divinity in my humanity. I get that. Um, I'm not, Yes. Okay. I may not be as good at reading this and thinking deeply while I'm already coming to completion. But how about what I'll do is I will close this with a meditation, and then I'll take that in a little bit further when I have a moment. But yes, Marjorie, we'll make sure we try to address that before we close. So I'm going to say, let's place our hands on our heart. Let's tune within. Let's let the eyes close and let the breath deepen and recognize and notice the breath. And truly, let's just be grateful to be grateful that we are this awake and aware, that we are here together, that we get to witness each other's journey, talk about the journey, not just be with our head down, fully asleep. And let's be grateful that we have really all the tools we need to solve any problem we would ever have. And as Jennifer teaches, as the Course teaches, all that's required is a tiny bit of willingness. And you have a lot of willingness if you're here. And we have a lot of willingness if spiritual um, enlightenment or awakening is a goal of ours. It's attractive. So let us just offload our problems on the altar if you can. Maybe you just bundle them up without naming them and put them all together. And then our commitment is that anytime we take it off the altar and start trying to figure it out again ourselves, that we recognize that and just put it back. And a key component is that we would be unconditionally loving with ourselves. That even in recognizing being reactive, I don't have to berate myself for it. Just that I say that it's even more loving to myself that I respond lovingly to others. That is a gift I give myself because that is life force enhancing. That will only fill me and nourish me. But being reactive will deplete me, and that is unloving. So, love is the healer, and it does begin with a willingness to be infinitely patient with ourselves. And I was with a group today, and we were realizing there were women realizing they've had the same challenge for years and years. And I said, well, consider maybe that's your life's work. So don't ever give yourself a hard time if you have the same challenge. That's what you're here for. But we keep it on the altar. We give it to Holy Spirit, and we do the practices. We do the things of this world that fill us up, give us energy, bring us joy so we can hold and emit joy. And so let's just take a moment to also send a blessing to Jennifer or any other teacher you have. Send just in your own way, a heartfelt message of gratitude. And if there's anything energetically or as a prayer you'd like to send out to all of humanity, my yoga teacher said that if there's one awakened person, it is equivalent to 120,000 unawakened people. So, in that way, as we wake up, as we shine brightly, we lift multitudes with us. We don't need everyone to be fully awakened because we will uplift others naturally. And the Course's teaching is there is no other. So we give thanks. We are grateful for this time. I'm so grateful for Spirit using me to share in a way that may be helpful in any way. And so we open our minds and hearts to receive a musical blessing. So Chaia, anytime you are ready, take your time. We'll switch spots.
Okay. Oh, thank you. That was really, I took a lot of notes. I'm enjoying it. So, this is an old song from my teenagerhood that I heard at camps by Judy Collins, I believe. It's called either Open the Door or A Song for Judith. So if you know it, I hope it brings you back nice memories. Sometimes I remember the old days when the world was filled with sorrow. You might have thought I was living, but I was all alone. In my heart the rain was falling, night came, dark was calling. Come back, I'm all you'll ever know. Open the doors and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. You're like a rainbow. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. Like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me. I used to think it was only me, feeling alone, feeling free, to be alive, to be a friend. Now I know we all have laughter, stormy and stormy weather. The sun shines and we're together. I'll be your friend. Open the door, come on in. I'm so glad to see my friend. You're like a rainbow coming around the bend. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. I hope I'll be as good a friend to you as you are to me.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Such a high spirited song. Very uplifting. Whew. Okay, so we'll see. We've got a small crowd here, but we could probably still do a breakout, I think, just to share anything that came up in the talk, in the music, anything the Spirit dropped into your awareness that you feel is an insight for you. And it could even be a place where you share a challenge you identified and maybe your prayer around that challenge. So anything you would like to share that is inspiring as you join a breakout, you don't have to share. You could just hold space. And I think we're going into breakouts now for about 12 minutes or so. So just sharing that time equally is all we ask, and that you refrain from giving unsolicited advice. So we can go ahead. If Heidi, if you have prepared the breakout, we can see how that goes. Let's see. Okay. Is I don't know if Heidi, are you working on the breakout? I can't hear you. I can't see a message. Otherwise, I can do it. Okay. Give me 1 second. This should work. Okay. So we'll set it for 12 minutes. Okay, here we go. All right, we'll see how that goes. Okay, and then Haya, we can stick around here and just have a little chat. Let's see. I just have to change my view. Okay. And then I think the trick I do, okay, good. They're in a breakout. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's okay. All right. So then I will unmute you, Haya. I don't know if you were, okay, you are a co-host. Okay, so you can unmute.
Is that better? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
see. But
But
I
I
always
always
go
What? You
when
get
I
feedback?
detect
pick
an
an
echo.
echo.
So
So
how
how
about
about
you can
you can
share
share
anything
anything
you'd
you'd
like and
like and
mute.
mute.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was a lot of what I was thinking about with my friend Heather, and you know Heather, and she was trying to say that if I raise my vibration, go to the higher vibration, I will be able to keep what I want to achieve in terms of helping others enough in my consciousness so it doesn't matter where I am physically or how I am not don't need to limit myself by fears of, like all the damage that the environment's going to suffer under these new rules, which have fear around. She said, if you're less stressed, at least it won't affect you as much. So all these things that I'm letting into my mind, I like how you put it. So you can just put them on the altar or put them. It's not like you're not going to consider them, but not at the time when I want to be sleeping or something, resting. And I don't, and I've overactivated my mind, and I do want to get more in my body. So the Kundalini was great for that, and the other breathing things we did.
Great.
Great.
Um,
Um,
I
I
want
want
to,
to,
so I'm
so
going
I'm
to
gonna
mute you
mute you
just for
just
a
for a
moment.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll do the best we can. But I wanted to share that the course lessons for today, I feel like when I read them, I thought of you because I knew we'd be here today. I didn't bring them up in my talk, but so today's lesson is actually a review of lesson 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So this is what they do as you get to later points in the text. I think it's up to lesson 50. It's like you have individual lessons, but then at 51, you start a review period and you review 5 at a time. And you just kind of remember them. And there's a little bit, you're presented with a few different ideas about them, but this is what they are. The 5 lessons are: my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. So it's a bit of helping us on how to see the world. And then it goes on for, okay. So like, for example, I'll read this one. It's just a few sentences under this lesson 11, which is, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. It says, since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, which we established in the previous lessons, the world that pictures them can have no meaning. What is producing this world is insane. And so it is, and so is what it produces. Reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing. So it goes on to say, I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. Insane thoughts are upsetting. They produce a world in which there is no order anywhere. Only chaos rules a world that represents chaotic thinking, and chaos has no laws. I cannot live in peace in such a world. I am grateful that this world is not real and that I need not see it at all unless I choose to value it. And I do not choose to value what is totally insane and has no meaning. So, it's people can relate that to the world at large, but I feel like the way I was trying to represent in my own life, if I look at my home as a microcosmic world, I can look around and see a lot of broken stuff and stuff that needs to be fixed. It's a bit out of order. Um, and I can put my peace in. I'll only be at peace when all these things are in order. But it's like those things don't get fixed in one. I mean, things could be fixed in a day under certain circumstances, but it can feel a bit like that game where you hit the one beaver's head and the other one pops up, and so what I feel like what I'm getting is I will not have peace when I value my outer world to all be in a particular orderly fashion for me to feel at peace, because then I'll never be done controlling the world around me. And this is when Jennifer talks about, what does she say? She's like organizing the deck chairs of the Titanic, like it's going down and you're sitting there trying to like get all the deck chairs perfect. like like this is the teaching, is that's why I said I want to value how I'm showing up and how I'm responding, and that I am a person who has enough. Kundalini says you have enough energy in your system to respond versus react. Like usually you're reactive because you're out of gas, you're exhausted, you haven't met your own needs. So you're just more susceptible to that type of response, more like a reactivity than a response. And so that's what I was saying, is like I have been valuing the outer thing. I've been valuing, you know, teaching Justine to be responsible, but sometimes I'm forgetting that, but how I teach her that is as critical as teaching her that. Like, how does she
She
gonna
gonna
hold
hold
me
me
accountable?
accountable.
She's
She
me.
me. Yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Well, I think that makes so much sense. Heather was saying your home itself is welcoming people and healing for people. And I spend hours a day sending out love and support to my friends and getting it back, obviously. And I think that my childhood is the trauma part, is outside wasn't safe, so inside isn't safe. So I have to reparent myself in that regard. And this is speaking directly to it. It's very, and I've had these moments of safety now when I go to sleep because I'm taking charge of making myself the one in charge of night and meeting my own needs for rest as a priority. And that's huge. It's so nice. So that, 3 out of 6 nights, that's okay. It's better than zero. So it's little things, we're right, little steps like children learn, because it took us a lot of years to form this habit.
It's so
It's so
funny that
funny.
it's
This is
literally like
literally like
only one
only
of
one
us
of us
has the
the
mic.
mic. This is funny. I was gonna say
Yeah, maybe I'll just, let's see, we have like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Do you want
Do
to
you
say
want to say
something?
something?
No,
Oh, you muted.
I tend to jump into conversation, so I should practice this with you can only talk one person at a time. But I liked your chutes and ladders thing. That was great. That was a good metaphor. Everybody knows it, I think, around here, so it was good. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I sent out this story of your part of the motherhood story to my cohort of writers, and they really enjoyed the scenery of your home. How I, whatever you were in there, if they liked it. I just had to put it in a more logical order. That's what she said. The main criticism was, so that's good.
So
So
cool.
cool.
In learning, I'm learning. And writing has been a very good tool to help me trust my go down deeper into my my MOs and my motives for things, how am I feeling that I don't put in consciousness. So it's been helpful. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you
You're
for what you're
welcome.
doing. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Judy Collins has a bigger range than I do, so I realized I turned it. I put the capo on, but it wasn't high enough, so I had an octave lower. I don't know if you could notice too much.
The
The
audience is
audience is
happy.
happy.
Like,
Like,
No, they were happy. I can't see anybody. There's only like a couple people whose faces are there.
oh, yeah.
yeah.
Mm, good. Oh, good. Do you have to bring
Okay.
everybody back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
they'll
be
be
in a
in a
minute.
minute.
Do you want me to do anything else in one more song, or what were you thinking?
Do
Do
one
one,
more.
Okay. Do you
I'll
think
do
I'll do
some
some,
we're
and then
and
some?
then
Oh, okay. The people here when I did Over the Rainbow? If I did that again, would that be
you
you
can do
redundant?
can do
anything.
anything.
Okay. Because I was thinking of doing Blowing in the Wind, but the symbolism is spiritual, but the actual words are pretty heavy. So I thought maybe Over the Rainbow is more positive. Do you have any feelings?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go with
go with
what feels
feels
like
like
fun
fun
for
for
you.
Okay.
you.
Okay. The other one's kind of a way to vent. But I can, Over the Rainbow's okay. I
Okay.
know that better. All right. Thanks.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
I
I
just
just
keep
keep
to
to
find.
find.
Oh, can
Oh,
I
can I
read
read
this?
you
Do
this?
you
Do
mind
you mind
muting?
muting?
No, not.
I love this one. So this was yesterday. It was like, I'm upset because I see what is not there. It says, reality is never frightening. It is impossible that it could upset me. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I am upset, it is always because I've replaced reality with illusions I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I've given them reality, and thus regard reality as an illusion. Nothing in God's creation is affected in any way by this confusion of mine. I am always upset by nothing. Anyway, um, oh, hi, Jean. Okay, let's see. We'll close these. Okay. I think we had one room of people. Okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll remove this one and we'll come back. I think everyone is back. Okay, we still have some people with us. All right, so welcome back. We were chatting it up. I was reading from the current lessons in the course because they're just so good. They're always good. And this is so fun that you can do this year after year and it gets better and better for me. That is so thrilling to me that it gets better and better. It gets more and more helpful. So we have just the last part of our time here today. We do a few announcements and then Haya will sing her last tune and then we'll pray out. So for announcements, we are closing Masterful Living tomorrow. So if you have any interest to join for our year-long program where you really get to have so much support with every challenge and every single little thing and be in a community of amazing people. And it never, well, I wouldn't say that. We learn to not say never. But consistently, people say how helpful it is to come together with other people and just talk through what's kind of on their mind, in their heart, just to be able to have a place to talk about it and be heard and not be judged is so powerful for people. I mean, this is really the highlight of our programs, is the community aspect. So we have Masterful Living closing tomorrow. We have, let's see, we've got Jennifer's monthly deep dives that she's doing, where she, every month, she has a theme and she goes deeply into that theme, and you can join her for just that particular month, or you can join the series so that every month you will have some uplifting, you'll be uplifted. I'm just getting the wrong website. Okay, that's not loading for me. So we have our deep dive, and we've also have tons of free forgiveness workshops. Jennifer is just pumping them out. So forgiveness workshop, our next one is Sunday, March 8th. And she's adjusting the days and times to try to fit everybody's schedules. But if you haven't done a forgiveness workshop yet, it's awesome, because she will walk you through step by step how to do the forgiveness letter. And that's a profoundly life-changing tool. Talk about having tools in the toolbox. Once you've fully forgiven yourself, I mean, you're pretty much, you're cruising to the castle. You're cruising. So, forgiveness workshops, deep dive workshops. We have a couple other fun offerings coming up, but we're not quite ready to advertise them. But we are doing a Living A Course in Miracles series this year, which is so exciting, because that is, I don't know, that's how I joined. So I have a special like affinity for those classes. And then I think that'll do. We also are always open to anyone who feels inspired to make a one-time or recurring donation to our Sundays with Spirit series. And so you can view the link in the chat for that. And then Haya, I'll pass it to you. When you're ready, you can come on. And then if you have any announcements, if you can make them.
Okay, let's see. I have a booklet for adults also called Praying Naked, A Woman's Journey Throughout Shame. And it's got poetry from women around the world, and photography and stories. And anyone interested, I can let you know more about it. It's really lovely to meditate on all these poems and views of women around the world. It's kind of unifying at this time. And I think that's all. Yeah.
How can they
have you? Just my email if they have my email. Also, if anybody needs it, I'm working on a simplified version of a class on how to manage anxiety and fears for teenagers. So I have a prototype. So if anyone wants just to have it, I'll send it out to you for free, just to give feedback to me. It would be really nice if you need help to talk to a teenager. It's trying to be in the voice of a young teen, like 11, 12, 13. I guess that's a teen. So there you go. So ready for a song?
Yes.
Yes, any. All right. This song was written as a response. The two composers are Jewish, and to respond to the Holocaust in a way with hope and optimism. And the lyrics are by a man who's not as famous as the composer, but I think they're very special, the introduction. So I'm going to do my best on that one. So I wanted to share it because it's so hopeful, and I think we need that. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic to a place beyond the sun, to a place behind the reef, somewhere over that rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over that rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over that rainbow. But why, tell me why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I? Thank you. Thank you for a lovely afternoon, Angela, and everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was so beautiful, like at the end of the song, because it's so beautiful. And then Franca sent this little heart that just went up, and it was so sweet. That was so perfectly timed, Franca. And it just was like, oh, little hearts lighting up. Thank you, Aya. So lovely. Thank you for being here. I love that I have a musician friend I can call upon. Oh, thank you. And so we can pray out. And so first, I just want to thank Heidi behind the scenes. Thank you for supporting in your way, Heidi, so much. Grateful. And thank you, everyone who's sticking around to the very end. Will bless us on our way. So grateful and thankful to have had this time together. Grateful to go forward, remembering we can place our challenges on the holy altar. We can give them over so that we are free to enjoy our life. Grateful for the way Spirit has spoken through me and through Haya's music. Grateful for each of your participation in the breakouts, and just grateful that we can carry on the community as Jennifer is away, and we bless her to have a nourishing time where she is, and blessing her travels to and from, blessing all of humanity in our own willingness and our own desire to be unconditionally loving to ourselves, to others. So grateful to go forth and be the light we are. In gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.